All right, well, welcome back to the Dirt Church World Headquarters here in beautiful Ridgefield, Washington. Welcome to a new edition of interviews with mostly unknown people. Today I have with me Chris Clark. Hi, Chris.
Hey,
Hey, man of many words. Thanks for joining me. Now, you race, in fact, it's on your t shirt, you race with the Oregon Oldtimers.
I do.
How long you been racing with them?
Probably 20 years now.
20 years.
Well, no, it's a little less than that. Yeah, I'd say 16.
Okay, so just for clarification, because I'm not real clear on it, maybe some other people out there watching are, all three of my viewers. Oregon Oldtimers is a motocross club, motorcycle club.
It is.
Okay, strictly motocross or
Strictly motocross.
strictly motocross out of Mountain View track?
No, this is Washougal. This is the Oregon Oldtimers. It's kind of a.
Oregon Oldtimers out of Washougal, Washington.
Yes.
Why the name Oregon?
I know that's always gets tossed up. That's just where their track is. They used to have Albany. I think they have Albany also.
Okay.
They just recently started that one, so I haven't raced there.
Okay, so is there an age requirement to be in the Old
Gotta
Timers?
be 40.
Got to be at least 40.
40 to start, and based on your level, skill set, they'll put you where you need to go.
Okay, so did you do much riding or racing prior to joining the Old Timers?
None.
Really?
Well, no, I take that back. I did. I started out at PIR, bought a YZT50, which probably wasn't a very good choice in bike selection.
So what year of bike?
That was an '03, I think.
Okay, so was that a two-stroke at the time?
Two-stroke.
Two-stroke. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I probably spent more time on the ground with that bike than I care to admit. Got yelled at by a lot of folks. Get out of my way.
Was that your first motorcycle or first full size?
No, I've had all kinds of motorcycles on and off through my life, but that was, I was laid off from work, and I was working as an electrician, and the guy there raced. He said, "You need to get a dirt bike. You need to start racing." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll go try that." And
You're really hard to convince, aren't you?
and yeah, PIR that's an awesome track, but yeah, as a beginner, I didn't know squat. So it took the Oregon Oldtimers. I learned a ton.
So just so I'm clear, a coworker said get a bike, go race, and you said, "Oh, okay."
Pretty much.
And you just, "Oh, I like the color blue," so you bought a YZ.
Well, I had a guy who says, "You want a two-stroke. You don't want a four-stroke. They're, like the KTM's. They're pretty aggressive, and I wish I would have hindsight, but oh well."
So how long did you race at PIR or PIR before you went over to
I think I raced 1 year, and then I went from there into Oldtimers.
Okay.
So
So how'd you do that first year?
that's terrible. Yeah, I was lucky if I think I I brought up the rear most of the time. So
Well, somebody has to
yeah.
close out the roster there.
Yeah.
So, but now you've had some pretty good years riding with the Old Timers.
A couple, yeah.
What's your best season?
Well, I've championshiped in the 40 beginner. I took the championship series, and then
So number one?
that was the first one. Yeah, first time out.
No, I mean that when you say you took the championship, you
Yeah,
had the most points.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then I moved up into the intermediate and won the 50 intermediate also. So yeah, won a couple different ones.
Yeah. Still enjoy it?
I love it.
How many? Any idea how many bikes you've had since that YZ?
4, 5.
Okay, so you went. Did you go straight from the YZ to KTM, or okay? And
I did.
you've been loyal to the Orange ever since, huh?
Yeah, they're a good, well-built bike.
Okay. What's
A
your?
little on the spendy side, but anyway.
Yeah, but you don't have to spend as much to get them to.
Right.
I mean, they come at that level. So, what's been your favorite bike?
The 350 was pretty good. I got a 450 now, and it's a monster. It's an awesome bike, but the 350 is just a better fit for me. It was with good suspension. The suspension's always been terrible, but once you get that fixed, you're good to go.
So did you grow up riding?
I did. We always had dirt bikes around. First bike my first personal bike was a Honda Trail 70.
Okay.
I remember that as a young man. And then
About how old?
Oh shoot, 10,
Okay.
something like that. I remember changing the sprocket on the rear to get a little more climbing power. But
Be nice to have that bike again these days. Those things are they're climbing in value these days.
Then after that was I rode a bunch of different bikes, but I ended up with the Bull Taco, and then Cowie 350. That was the one that I trashed on, picked up super cheap. So, anyways, yeah, YZ rode YZ80, had a Hodaka.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard of them. I've seen them. I've never sat on
Ended
them.
up catching on fire.
Tell me about that. How'd that happen?
Just us kids and stuff not maintaining. We never did maintenance back in the day. So, yeah.
That kind of surprised me because now you won't even barely touch a dirty bike.
That's true.
I mean, except to clean it.
Yeah, you gotta know where things are at. Unlike you.
This isn't about me.
On the polar side there.
So I know racing isn't your only outlet for riding. I mean, I've known you about 5 years, 6, 7 years, something like that. And we've gone trail riding
Right.
together. So did you do much trail riding before?
Not a lot. So
How do you like it compared to the track?
that's awesome. Trail riding's fun, yeah.
If you had to give up one though, would you give up the track or would you give up the trail?
Boy. It depends. I'm older now, so it makes more sense to give up the track. You know, the breaking the bone thing gets a little more as you get older. But I like getting out there once I'm out there. Lately, cost has been kind of an issue for a lot of people.
On the tracks or
just racing in general.
Yeah.
But anyways,
So you just did a race recently. Well, you did, I did,
right.
my kid and grandkids
That was awesome.
did. Was that your first hare scramble?
It was.
Right. You enjoyed that?
Yeah, that was. I wish I wouldn't have got taken out on the first jump. But no, it was a blast.
Yeah, you didn't. Well, you did. You got an injury somehow. Jammed your thumb or something.
I did. Yeah, it's still kind of.
So speaking of injuries, I mean, you ride long enough, you're gonna get hurt eventually. You know, it's not a. I always tell people when you're riding, whether you're on the street or out in the dirt, it's not a matter of if you're gonna go down, but a matter of when you're gonna go down.
Right.
And that doesn't mean you always have to get hurt, but sometimes we do get hurt.
Yeah.
So what's been your worst injury?
Really?
Yeah, I'm curious. What would you? I know what I would
know.
say is
don't really recall.
I remember a couple of hospital trips, but
Well, I've had. I guess the worst one was the foot peg through my calf.
okay.
That one was, yeah, not good.
No, that was pretty ugly.
Yeah.
It still is. I'm surprised you wear shorts.
Thanks.
Yeah, don't worry. I don't think
I
anybody's
always tell
checking your
people
legs
it's
out
a
anyway.
Shark bit me.
Sure,
Or
yeah. Well, but you know the thing that I'm impressed with about that is an ugly accident. But the thing that impresses me the most, your doctor said something about, and correct me if I get it wrong, but you'll walk again, but you probably never run again.
Right. Yeah.
Because you had, I mean, not only ate up the meat, but didn't you tear some tendons or something? Or
it tore a little bit, yeah, but it was a real God thing because it tore out a chunk, fistful of calf, but it missed all the vitals that, like tearing your tendon and cut. That's not a good thing, and that's what the doctor initially thought had happened, was that stuff was going to be damaged to where you're not going to be able to run. And afterwards, hindsight, he came up, man, you were really lucky. You missed all the stuff that would have,
did you
he
feel?
was really surprised.
Did you feel lucky?
No. Yeah, just going through that was just one of those things.
Yeah, but then so that was the doctor's report. You'll never run again, and you proved him wrong. How long after the accident did you start running again?
As soon as I was able to walk on my feet, I started hitting the gym again. Yeah.
And see, that's the difference between you. If somebody told me I'd never run again, I'd be like, wasn't planning on it anyway.
Yeah.
Now I just have an excuse. But
Yeah.
no, so you're back to run. I mean, full.
Right.
What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, you can do it. You made me think too when you said chunks taken out. You had an incident where like a year later somebody found your finger in a glove.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
So you lost a finger or a tip of a finger.
I did. I was racing up in Canada, and the tracks were super dusty. Anyway, whatever. My front end kicked out, and I think my clutch handle got jammed up against and smashed my finger, and then the forward momentum threw me off the bike and tore my finger off. And I grabbed the bike, got to going, looked, and my bone was sticking out of the finger. So anyways, I grabbed my helmet, headed off, ended up going to the hospital and whatnot. But I think my the guys threw my gloves in not knowing, and I was a little bit in shock on the finger thing.
Yeah, I wonder why.
But it was probably 8 months later, maybe pushing a year. I went up trail riding up Hood River and pulled out, and while I was at the hospital, and the doctor says, where's the rest of your finger? And I said, what do you mean, where's the rest of my finger? And they're like, well, you had an amputation. And like, I don't have a clue where it's at. Anyway, so we're up there, and I pull out that helmet from racing. I thought, okay, I'm gonna do that, and I go to put that on and reach in there, and like, oh great. I think I found my finger. And the guy I was with, he's like, oh, that stuff doesn't bother me. I'll look. Let me see. Oh, yep, that's your finger. It's so funny.
Did you put those gloves on?
I eventually did. I washed them, but I took the finger home, gave it a proper burial.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. That's pretty gross.
Something else.
Well, talk to me about growing up. Grow up around here. Grow up in this area, Washington.
Yeah, mostly here in Battleground.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and I grew up out in Oregon, Shoals, Oregon. also. Up until I was like 8, it was out here in Battleground. Then I grew up out in Shoals, Oregon, with the bushes.
Good student at school?
I don't know. I would say good. School wasn't hard for me. I just don't know that I put the effort into it. So.
But you passed.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, it was easy.
Yeah.
So I just kind of skated through.
Yeah. So what do you do for work nowadays?
My job title's a tool developer. We deal with cutting tool suppliers from all over the world and on a weekly basis.
Was that something that you saw yourself going into? I mean, as you're sitting there daydreaming in high school?
No, it's just one of those things where I started as a journeyman machinist, went through the apprenticeship program at work, and just progressively stepped up to different jobs, and this one opened up. And main thing when I first got it was day shift. I thought, okay, got that, and it turned out to be a good job. So you use your brain and a little bit of traveling once in a while, and it's enjoyable. It's always something different.
So are you actually involved in the design and development of the tools?
Can be, yeah.
Okay.
But it's mostly problem solving, figuring out stuff and pointing people in the right direction. And, sometimes it's working with the manufacturer and like, nah, you need to tweak this a little bit or that kind of thing.
That's cool.
Anyway.
It's kind of not one of those things you had planned on, but the door opened up and it's worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
That's cool. Married?
Married. 2 boys.
2 boys. How long have you been married now?
36 years.
Don't ask me. I'm
36.
okay. Happily?
I'm sticking to it. Yes.
Good answer, because she might watch this. So, 2 sons. I know you got, 3 grandkids?
I do.
Yeah.
2 boys and a 16-year-old granddaughter. She's at my house right now.
Yeah, life gets busy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know you're kind of toying with the idea of retiring one of these days.
I is, real shortly here.
Real shortly, huh?
Maybe. We'll
Any
see.
any plans, like bucket list things you want to do?
Bucket list. Well, we do want to get a 5th wheel and do some traveling.
Yeah.
I'd like to go race a series or go down. I got a buddy down in Palm Springs, and I'd like to go park down there, and he rides every weekend.
Oh man,
Go hit the tracks. That'd be so much fun.
that'd be awful hot in the summertime, I think.
Yeah, but you get out there early.
Oh, yeah,
January through February, then come back up here and.
You're used to getting up at 2 or 3 in the morning to go to work anyway, so.
Yeah.
At least it'd be for fun then.
It would.
Well, that's cool. So, talk to me. Let's shift gears a little bit now. Talk to me about your faith journey. I know you're a Christian man now. I know where you go to church and been able to watch that. But I don't know if you were raised in a Christian home. I don't know if you a lot of times people get raised in a Christian home, but it doesn't click with them until sometime later. Tell me about your journey.
Well, early on I was not so much, around. Well, I think there was an element. I remember I was probably 7, 6. I remember going down at Twin Oaks, or not Twin Oaks, but Twin Rocks Campground. I think it's down on the coast, Oregon coast. I remember walking down there because my dad would drop us off for the weekend for this camp or week-long camp or whatever. And I remember going down and walking up and giving my heart to God. But that's kind of where I think that was the initial seed.
Okay.
But after that, it went through just life. Ended up where I really kind of got grounded was I ended up in a foster home, and the foster parents were just awesome, solid Christians, and that was probably the best thing for me, because who knows what I would have ended up doing. But anyways,
Well, that's kind of an interesting turn of events, too. I mean, 'cause most of the time when somebody says they ended up in foster care, I mean, it's never the choice of the kids.
no,
It's always
Right.
an issue with the parents. So that's got to be pretty traumatic in the first place.
it was initially, yeah, it was. It's you know, it makes you wonder what's going on,
Yeah,
kind of thing. Anyways,
yeah. But by the grace of God, you got landed with a good, solid
I
family.
did. Yeah, they were very good, and they were as much parents to me as, if not more, than my real parents. You know, my mother now has passed away, but my dad's still around. He's back east, so
Well, I know you and your mom were able to end up having a fairly decent relationship before she passed,
right.
and so that was cool to see. It's been cool to observe. But anyway, let's go back to your faith journey. You get into this foster home that really is a great home.
Right. Did that, and kind of. We always went to church, and I could just remember Mom. You know, we were way out in the country, so we didn't really go into town much. But I remember memorizing chapters in the Bible. Like, you do this, get this, we might go see a movie, you know, or something like that would be. So that was a real motivation for us. So, anyways, there was that kind of grounding, and you know, it was probably more so Mom Bush that was really, you know, grounded and making us think. And so, anyways, so after that, they ended up moving down to, I think when I was 16, 17. They had to move down south to Arizona because of Mom's asthma, and I ended up back with my mom. My mom wasn't living the life, you know, she said she was. So, anyways, there were some bad influences. So I kind of walked away from God for many years, kind of doing just my early 20s. So, went. My wife that I had brought back from Fresno, she got saved, and she was kind of a big influence on me, and ended up eventually going back to church, and just kind of didn't really want to commit because I kind of liked what I was doing.
Yeah.
So took a while, and I talked to her about it, and I said, you know, I said, you know, I don't know that I want to do it, because if I do, I want to make sure that I'm going to be solid and, you know, be committed to it. Eventually I did, and changed a lot of what I was doing, and, you know, I can remember guys at work, had one guy come up to me and goes, man, what is up with you? Man, you used to swear all, because I did, I was terrible. He's like, man, you're just like, you're totally different, you know. So it was noticeable by people, but
So you didn't have to tell people,
I did not.
hey, I'm a Bible thumper.
No,
I'm a super Christian now.
No, and I spent a lot of time on swing shift, and I was probably the biggest screw off. I mean, horseplay wise, but had one league come up to me and goes, you one of them born again thumper believers? You know, he was trying to give me crap, and I said, yeah. He looked at me and turned around and walked off. That was that.
That was the end of that.
That was that conversation. So that was kind of funny, but no. So I've kind of been, you know, little ups and downs over the years, but for the most part, it's been a good journey, and Yeah, me and my wife have really got a good relationship, and God's only because of the grace of God.
Well, that's, I think that seems to be fairly common, where maybe a person gets saved as a kid, involved in church, hears all the Bible stories, in the kid version.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I want it. But then you get a little older and your eyes start wandering, and you start experiencing other things, and you get that pull, but it's really cool when we can go back. I think it's really neat that the Lord will let us come back. He's a God of second chances, third chances, fourth chances.
Yeah, God has had His hand on my, just almost like it's like, because I've had so many things that you can just look back and see, wow, you see, that was so God, that, because different avenues on like, for instance, I got hired at work to go into programming, and management change, and then within like 2 months they said, no, we're going to hold off. Well, it was a couple months later, they had this big huge layoff show up at Boeing's layoff thing, and boy, had I gone in there, I'd have been gone.
Oh, man.
So that worked out pretty good. So you can kind of see all those.
Yeah, sometimes
hindsight's pretty clear.
Yeah, sometimes it's the hindsight that you see it, and you don't see it right at the moment. Sometimes you're kind of puckering pretty hard right at the moment.
Yeah.
Wondering how you're going to get through it. But so with all the back and forth, and then finally sitting and talking with your wife and saying, okay, when I do this, I want to do it. I want to do it for real.
Yeah. So
be solid. Any regrets since then?
No, I at the time I went, the church I was going to, went up there and went up in front of the church, made a public recommitment.
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't had any regrets. No, it's awesome.
So has there been?
I have as much. People are worried about being a Christian and having fun. That's ridiculous.
so you haven't had to give up anything.
No.
You're still having fun.
I still have just as much fun. It's just in a more constructive way of doing it. I'm just like anybody else. I'd still screw up, and
I know.
But I try to live by an example, hopefully. But.
Well, I think that's it's more powerful as you've got your life experiences. You can understand where others are,
right.
and rather than just trying to get them in church. And this is the cool thing about you. You're able to be the church to them, whether you're out on the track, you're out on the trail, you're at work.
Right.
You are who you are. And hey, when people are noticing differences, they're also, and they're noticing changes in your life, they're also watching to see, man, how is this going to work for him? Because if it works for him, maybe it'll work for me. Some people just take a little longer.
But lately it's been, man, you got a lot of gray. What's up, old guy?
You are not nearly as young as you used to be. Yeah, getting up there. So, any bikes in your future? Anything you said, man, I'd really like to get, don't have yet, would like to get?
I wouldn't mind getting a Harley.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Cruiser or like the Pan American?
I'm not sure yet. I'd have to dig into it, but I just want something, ape hangers, get on it.
So no knobbies on that one?
No, this would be a street one, but I wouldn't mind a nice dual sport too. So.
Well, you might have to build a bigger shop if you're going to have.
Yeah, the wife says, you're going to have to give up one and get another one.
Ouch. She probably wouldn't think it was funny if you gave up hers to get you another.
That's an idea.
I didn't come up. That's not my idea.
That's a great idea.
Well, Chris, thanks for coming and tolerating this, and just kind of sharing your life and being part of interviews with mostly unknown people.